See. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee with Older INFP-A Insights, and today we have Ingrid from Radish Raven, and we are going to be talking about how did we get here. We're going to be talking about autism and ADHD as INFP creators who have autism and or ADHD, and diagnosed later in life. And I'm just learning as one, I'm ADHD, diagnosed later has its own set of challenges and rewards, which I wasn't aware of. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And how do we as professionals get to be professionals when we have a lot of things by the guru saying that some against us, and particularly being INFPs. And we're, if you listen to the videos and everything online, what you believe, what you see is everything you believe. We're not supposed to be doing anything but just stay in our room. So this is what we're talking about, that you can do it, and it's all about us. just told Ingrid, we're going to do the FI version. It's all about us. So we do realize that there's, a lot of different ways of being, and a lot of everything's on a spectrum. But it's just our chat about what we experience. So that's it. I will have more details about what autism is and signs and symptoms, and what ADHD signs and symptoms in the description box for you to go back and review if you don't know. But we're not going to get into the science of it today. We're going to get into the It's All About Me Day. So, welcome, Ingrid. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
Yeah. So first off, and we'll introduce ourselves. And I'm the ADHD part. I know it doesn't look like it, but I will tell why. There's several types of that. And Ingrid has just recently been diagnosed with having autism. So you want to tell a little bit about your channel and yourself and who you are, for those who tune in might not know?
Yeah, so I'm Ingrid. I'm Radish Raven on YouTube, and yeah, what do I do? I work as a medical resident in general practice here in Sweden. And I got diagnosed with autism almost exactly a year ago. And yeah, I talk about INFP, MBTI, about books I read, life,
Yeah.
and autism is my new thing.
Yeah, we're good. And you have cooking shows. I like the cooking shows.
The cooking shows.
And for those who don't know, I am Dee. I'm an older INFP. I get the seat right. I have a new computer that I don't know how to work. We're like 15 minutes late getting on. It's typical INFP form, about 15 minutes late getting on. But yeah, and I am an INFP. I was diagnosed with ADHD about 10 years ago. So I've lived a whole lifetime not knowing I had ADHD. And I'm a retired master's level social worker. I will say clinical social worker, which I was, and I got into the mental health field. But interestingly enough, before that, I started out in health, because true to INFP but ADHD part is that I always wanted to be a doctor, but I could not memorize. I like when we had to learn, like in junior high, we had to learn all this bones in the body, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't focus. I can't do that. So what I do is I'm the social worker in healthcare settings, and the doctors can do all the memorizing, and I can do all the social telling stories and let my mind do this. So so we have a little bit more in common than we thought. But I realized early on that medicine was not for me. I can't pass the test.
Oh.
When you make a 30 on the zoology introductory course, that tells you don't. You might want to look at something else. So
zoology seems interesting, but yeah.
So anyway, how did we get here, and what were our that we don't know? I don't know. Um, but I'll just ask, and I'll just say with the ADHD, just a couple of quick things about ADHD, and then I'll have Ingrid say just a couple of quick words, keywords about autism. And we can say that you can have both. And it's very common to overlap the symptoms. That's why we're not going to get into all that. But I'm a true ADHD. I don't have autism. And I believe you got tested for ADHD and you did not. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
Right.
so she does not have ADHD.
No.
So this is scientifically more scientific. There's not much.
Yes, for more pure versions.
Pure versions. Exactly right. So just the one word for ADHD is that we chase dopamine. Just our brains think differently than the regular world. And to us, it's normal, but we chase dopamine. We're low in dopamine. And so we like the next, we're like a squirrel in the road. So if you have or a dog that you walk and then they chase squirrel, they see something off to the side. That's in a nutshell what ADHD is. So
yeah,
you have in a nutshell what autism looks like.
what autism looks like. Well, I don't know. I kind of went through like the diagnostic criteria and stuff, which probably is very autistic of me.
Yes. Yeah. I would say that is, yes.
But so, yeah, the thing with autism is more of the monotropic lens, which is basically that you have an intense focus on one thing at a time.
Right.
So that doesn't lend itself well to like social reciprocity, which is like the biggest criteria. And then it doesn't lend itself well to perceiving the world in the same way, sensory wise.
Right.
So there's often problems with like that you're really sensitive or not so sensitive to certain stimuli or whatever you call it. And I wrote stuff down here. And that's why often there's this focus on repetition, similar, not liking change, that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, and focus on specific interests.
Right. So be more of a structure. You do better with structure.
Better with structure, but it's also more like detail.
Okay, the details in the structure.
Like focus.
Focus, yeah. Kind of like if you're in the MBTI, we're kind of like what introverted intuition would be. The NI, the focus on the, like that's goal focused. Then instead of just being goal focused, like you just focus on one thing.
I wish I had an eye, but I don't know.
But I mean, it would be for those who aren't familiar with the autism part, but familiar with the MBTI, be more of an NI thing where it be focused on one thing, you pinpoint one thing.
Yeah, I think it's more like SI rather.
Oh, SI, okay.
Yeah, because it's like more on like details. It's more. But it's also about pattern recognition, which is a nice, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about that.
And we recognize patterns too, for those with ADHD. Yes. I recognize them really fast. And like a million at one time, and my brain goes 24/7. And then I have to take time out a day or two or whatever and process what I just heard and weed out. And I'm not a quick responder. If people want a response from me quickly, you'll get one, but it won't be the real one. I'll just throw something out there because that's just what we do. And it's like when I keep doing this with my hands, that's what my brain does. I'm just saying, instead of going pinpoint, my brain is going in a million different directions at the same time, which to me is linear. But it's not. I can just go off on tangents for what other people say are tangents, but to me it's linear. So that aggravates people a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do that too, though. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
No.
we have a bunch of questions. We want to get through this and not take a whole too long time, but that's a good introduction. And I'm sure everybody appreciate just what we said. Here's something here. In your childhood, you were diagnosed and you're considered late, even though you're young, you're considered late being
Yeah.
diagnosed, which means adulthood. Because most, I don't know, most people, you think that you're going to get diagnosed in childhood. So I'll just ask you, in childhood, looking back, are there any signs that you could see now that were missed as a child?
Yeah, well, basically it was all chalked up to being like shy
Okay.
and like not talking, basically. And my kindergarten teachers didn't know that I could speak French because my mom's American, so they assumed that I couldn't speak French because I wasn't saying anything.
Okay.
I was definitely speaking, it's just that I didn't want to talk in kindergarten. I also just was confused about like what the other kids were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why are they doing this? Why are they getting what's their each other or what they're all doing? I was just all confused all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I would play on my own and then I would sing to myself and then I would run on my own. And then I don't know, I would dance on my toes, which apparently toe walking is like autism thing.
Right.
So yeah, I would do that. But like in my mind, I was pretending to be like an animal that walks on their toes
Mm-hmm.
because I figured like that's the best way to do things because animals do it that way.
Yeah.
So I just like started walking on. Yeah, I don't know. I was doing that, and yeah, basically being. I would have like one good friend, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know about the rest because like my mom didn't uh, she doesn't know about my autism, so I haven't like discussed this with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I only know like from my own memory
Right.
and what she has told me about myself
Mm-hmm.
before.
But,
I don't
but
know.
but that's okay. It's all about us anyway. It's our
Yeah,
perception. It's our perception. For
it's our
me,
perception.
yeah, for me with ADHD, the number one, and this is common in females, and this is why boys get diagnosed more with ADHD than girls do because the symptoms are different. Um, and for me, I have internal ADHD. I don't bounce off the walls. People say I'm calm, I'm laid back. No, my insides, if you could see my GI tract, for instance, you would know and talk to my GI doctor, and I've spent years trying to figure out what's wrong with my stomach. That type of thing. But yeah, common thing for girls, for women looking back, is I talk too much. And talking too much is a symptom in females of ADHD. And I always failed that on my report card. It was always needs to stop talking in class.
Yeah, well, mine was like needs to participate more in class. I got
Well,
down every single one.
well, I wouldn't participate in class. I would talk to people next to me and to myself, and I would just talk. And I got moved to
Yeah.
the back of the room. I was disturbing the class. And it has to do with a lot, have to do with boredom, but talking in class, and I wrote this down. What was another thing? Um, and I daydreamed in seventh grade. The teachers told my parents, if I quit looking out the window and pay attention, but I was paying attention to what was out the window was a whole lot more interesting than and it has to do, I think, with we're bored. We're trying to do, and now understand that dopamine fix. We're trying to get that hit, that high of dopamine. And yeah, I talked too much and I daydreamed out the window. Yeah, and I fidgeted. I'm fidgeting right now. I cannot sit still. I can sit but I cannot sit still. And that drove everybody crazy, and parents particularly who were very strict, and they're like, be still, be still. And I'm like, I can't. And I'm fidgeting right now. I fidget. Something's got to be moving about me 24/7. So, and it still is the case. So, okay, we're going to do the next question is masking. And masking is what people do. They hide their true selves in order to fit in. And we kind of know that we aren't like everybody else. And, Ziegler says it's confused. I wasn't confused. I knew more about who I was, but I was confused why other people didn't accept me. So, what things did you do before diagnosis that you thought will be considered masking in order to fit in?
Yeah. Well, I actually just recorded a video about this. But
Okay.
It's Paul McAuliffe from Autism from the Inside. He just came out with a video which was like the 4 ways autistic women mask or something. He's a big name in the YouTube autism community. And I was like, oh no, I recognize myself in all 4. And I didn't realize it because I don't know. As an INFP, I thought that I was being myself, but really, like, I was suppressing a lot of me. And one of them is being quiet and not expressing anything. So just like, I didn't learn to like express my own opinions until I was like 15, 16 when I just like gave up. I was just like, okay, well, whatever. Now I can start talking. But then what replaced that mask instead was like this cute, silly persona, which I still do, kind of. Where it's like, well, because I'm so cute and innocent, like nobody expects anything from me. So I can just keep, I don't need to take things as seriously. But it's also a mask, because it like underneath all that, I'm not just that,
Right.
And then there was also the performance aspect, which, I went through medical school, which, the whole fulfilling everybody's expectations kind of bit. And like kind of pretending to be a competent person who can like manage, like achieve big things. And like, yes, I can achieve big things, but it's also like I have to kind of pretend to be another person in order to be at work and that kind of thing. So that's another mask. And I wrote things down here. And then there was this thing of like, what Paul McAuliffe called making excuses, which is basically like saying, oh, well, I'm tired, so I can't go to this. When actually, like, I'm always tired. I'm always sick. Like, I'm never going to like this social event. But I just say, well, today I'm tired. So I was masking the fact that I was autistic, even though I didn't know I was autistic. I knew that something was wrong, or not how other people were living the world. So I think that his 4 different kinds of masking, there's all that. And then there's one thing is that I realized that I do what you call stims, which are fidgeting.
Right.
It's just that I've been suppressing them the whole time because, like, people don't like seeing that. And it agitates people. So I know that when I was a kid, I would do these things, but then I stopped doing them. And now I'm doing them again, and I'm realizing how good it feels.
Right.
I was suppressing them.
Right. Well, good. Well, a lot of those are kind of the same things that what I did. My number one thing is, and I still do it, is that I laugh and my sense of humor. And people say, yeah.
This was what my next video is about.
Yeah.
My next video is called why is laughter my way of masking or something? I forget what I called
Yeah.
it.
Well,
But yeah,
I knew I was doing it. And if I did something that, that didn't go over well, I'll put it that way. I would say like a mistake. I was going to say like a mistake or like dumb or whatever, but that's negative, and I'm not negative, and this is going to be a positive thing. And if
yeah.
it didn't go over well, and it was me,
Mm.
I would just laugh and just laugh it off and just make a joke out of it. I thought, oh, but inside I think, oh, that didn't go over well. I can't say that again, and that sort of thing. And I still laugh, and I'm laughing here, and I get a lot of comments about over the years about this channel, about how healthy and how upbeat and everything I am. A lot of it is now it's just ingrained. I just do it, and
Yeah,
I don't even know when I laugh, and I laugh inappropriately. it's just
exactly.
it's just everything. Don't take me to a wedding or a funeral. I'm just going to laugh through the whole.
Yeah, yeah.
Very.
I mean, I wonder how that affects if you like when you're a social worker.
Well,
You know, no, yes,
well,
I've experienced the same.
well, I used to, well, as a social worker, the kind of jobs I had were jobs nobody else wanted. Actually,
Yeah.
when working with people nobody else wanted, like the drug addicts, the homeless, kids who had ADHD, were bouncing off the walls, and people, a lot of people don't want to work with that population. So I had a good time with it because they were kind of laughing. If you work with somebody who's psychotic and a drug addict on the street,
Yeah.
they don't really care that you're laughing. You can make a good time out of anything and positive thing out of anything, as well as a 6-year-old ADHD child. Like, oh, she gets me. I can laugh, and I did get them. So my career was, maybe that was a mask. My career was into a niche where other people dare not tread.
Mm-hmm, I see. No, because for me, it's like I've had to repress my laughing because I'm supposed to seem serious and competent,
Right. Yeah.
So over time, I've been laughing less and less, which
Right.
sucks, but that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you can't laugh. Well, I don't laugh when if I'm in like a serious meeting or something. I don't laugh,
Yeah,
but you can tell a joke without laughing. I mean, you can be like lighthearted, and we do have kind of a sense of humor, kind of way of. I don't know. It's just a word choice, you might say, play on words or
yeah.
whatever. And another thing I did that kind of like you mentioned, I just forgot it because my brain just kind of goes, was fake it till you make it. I got into jobs like a career. We're talking about career, and I did get a professional degree.
Yeah.
School was always easy for me, so the coursework was always easy. It was actual work that got hard. But what I would do is I take jobs, and I've been anywhere from like working in the streets with the homeless people and whatever, all the way up to CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. And I would just tell them that, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do that. And like job work, can you write grants? Can you secure money? Can you get it in the community? Can you get on the radio? Can you do? I said, for that job, I said, yes, I can do. I would just say yes and not think I was going during the interview, not thinking I was going to get the jobs. And then I get the jobs and I'm thinking, oh, now what do I do? Now what? I have no idea what I'm doing.
That reminds me a bit of my mom, who I highly suspect has ADHD.
Yeah.
She said like the job that she got when she came to France was like she was highly like not qualified for.
Right.
And then she came there and it was like suddenly she was like the manager and she was like, yeah, she didn't last very long at that job. But
well, interestingly enough,
for a while.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, in the jobs I got, I learned it on the job training through myself. I couldn't tell anybody. I didn't know what I was doing, but I would, and this was before the internet, so you couldn't Google everything. And Yeah, I mean, I took a lot of jobs that I had no clue. Number one, in the interview, I just went for fun and say I interviewed,
Ah,
and,
the
and
worst
then
way ever. Job interviews.
yeah, but I would do that,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
evidently I interviewed well because I got a lot of jobs, and I worked my way up and did all kinds of things. But I think that was masking, was maybe that is like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And I did make it, and then after I made it, I got bored with it. Like, this is a lot of work. And then after about a year or two, I've had a lot of jobs. Then after about a year or two or so, and
Mm.
I would say, well, let me do something else. But yeah, I think that has to do with. I think we put ourselves out there. I put myself out there a whole lot, and
Mm.
with social anxiety, I do have. I think that's a commonality that we have with
Yeah.
social anxiety. Whereas you would be quiet, I would be out there, dying on the inside, but on the outside, I put myself out there a whole lot, and thinking like later, well, why did I do that? I don't want to. I really don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be joining this club or this group. And I sign up to be president of a what a meetup or whatever and have my, I'm like, why? You know? so, so that part kind of didn't work. Um,
Mm.
and we've got time. We didn't know if we are going to have enough time for this to have part two, but I just upgrade. This is just something I'm going, I'll let you know. I just upgraded so we can just stay here and
Okay.
finish. Because I don't want to have, I think it's interesting. Don't have to cut us off in mid thing. Oh, and I will say this is midway through. If anybody has any comments or questions, just put them down below of your experiences or anybody else's experiences. If you relate to this, if you have questions, put them below, and I'll let Ingrid answer the autism ones, and I'll tag you, Ingrid, if you get them. And
Yeah.
then for ADHD, you can, or either one, doesn't matter. I'm flexible. My brain's like this. I'm flexible. I don't have to have a plan. I do have to have a plan actually, but then I throw it away. Okay, the
Mm.
next question. I got a diagnosis. This is kind of depressing in a little way. How did you feel when you
Oh.
got the diagnosis?
Yeah, I've written here 4 words. I'll try. I'll go into more detail, but I'd say both relief and joy, but
Uh-huh.
also grief and anger.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think like right in the moment, I felt happy, but
Okay.
then I was like, oh no, now the rest of my life continues.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I realized, yeah, then I started like doubting myself, like, oh God, and like now I'm here. Like, like
What
the
are you
question,
doing? Mm-hmm.
how did we get here?
Right.
And I'm like, oh no. And the rest of my life is out there. But
Yeah.
then, like, a whole part of my life has already gone. And I've
Right.
kind of gotten myself onto this path.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's kind of like there was some, what's her name? It's another autistic YouTuber.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm watching this on. All, I'm only watching like autism videos. Like
Right. Yeah.
that's all I do with my free time. So like, sorry for
I,
all the references. But
yeah, I think that
Courtney,
uh,
Courtney literally is her name,
uh-huh.
and she posted her actual like when she got her autism diagnosis on YouTube, which really helped me when I was in my journey. And she said that she was grieving this person that she thought that she was going to become, that she never
Uh,
could become.
mm,
And
mm,
that's how I feel. Like
uh,
I had this idea, not like of an ideal person, but of a person that I could become, I could achieve this, I could be this.
mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, well, no, actually, I'm never going to be because I've never been a neurotypical person. So I'll never be a neurotypical person.
Right.
So it was
Right.
hard because it's kind of like you're grieving a person that is you, you know?
Right. Right.
So that was a thing. And anger, because it's like, well, I was angry that society is this way. And,
Right.
why didn't I get diagnosed earlier and blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, well, there's no use being resentful at like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that I was feeling really off kilter the first like 3 months or something.
Mm.
And now it's better. So
Well,
now I
that's
can
good.
like
Yeah.
accept that things are as they are, and I'm quite
Yeah.
happy with it in the end.
Well, that's good. That's good. And that's the reason, and I relate a lot, and that's the reason. Well, another reason I wanted to do this, and do it with you is that we're like tell my age. We're two generations apart, but I think there's a lot of similarities. It's differences, but there's a lot of similarities in our experiences. And I don't know what that says for the evolution of the human being, or whether it's just universal. But I think maybe I want to look at it positive and say maybe it's a universal type thing. It doesn't matter your age. I was diagnosed 10 years ago, and I will tell you how I got to be doing that. And I went through, now I'm going through the same things that you were going through. I mean, it took 10 years. I just like, well, whatever. But I forgot to say this earlier. This is another thing at ADHD, we forget things. But in women, I keep coming back to this because I want to be. I'm preaching in my channel. I call it insights, but it's like preaching my stuff. But it's
Yeah.
but it's very common for women to get diagnosed with BPD, borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
That's really ADHD. So I was
Or autism.
decades ago. I was diagnosed by several decades ago when I was having panic attacks and all kinds of anxiety stuff, stress and anxiety. Panic attacks is why I went to a psychiatrist. And I thought since that's a doctor, then they would know, the hierarchy of whatever you may think. And it didn't turn out. Said I had about a million diagnoses, but one of them was BPD, borderline personality disorder. And I'm thinking, well, I know what that is. And I don't feel like I come across that way. Because I've worked with some borderlines, and it's fine, but I don't feel like I'm that way. But that bothered me. So I took that with me until I saw about 10 years ago to a psychologist for another reason. She's a trauma specialist. So I was going to do some trauma work. I thought she kind of escorted me out the door and said I wasn't a good fit for her. She's a trauma expert. The trauma expert wouldn't see me, but
Okay.
but anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, exactly. She was a PhD. She was a doctor of psychology. So